Happy Thanksgiving. My name is Reverend Walter Frank Jr., pastor of Family Church of San Diego, a section of Family Federation for World Peace Unification. And this is a Thanksgiving message on gratitude for our Point Interfaith service. I want to start with an essay from Helen Keller, who, if you don't know, was stricken blind and deaf at a very early age. Here's what she says in her adult life. Only the deaf appreciate hearing. Only the blind realize the manifold blessings that lie in sight. Particularly, this applies to those who have lost sight in hearing in adult life. But those who never suffered impairment of sight or hearing seldom make the fullest use of those blessed faculties. I have often thought it would be a blessing if each human being were stricken blind and deaf for a few days at a time during his early adult life. Darkness would make him more appreciative of sight. Science would teach her the joys of sound. Now and then I have tested my seeing friends to discover what they see. Recently I was visited by a very good friend who had just returned from a long walk in the woods, and I asked her what she had observed. Nothing in particular, she replied. I might have been incredulous had I not been accustomed to such responses, for long ago I became convinced that the seeing see little. How is it possible, I asked myself, to walk for an hour through the woods and see nothing worthy of note? I who cannot see find hundreds of things to interest me through mere touch. I feel a delicate symmetry of a leaf. I pass my hands lovingly about the smooth bark of a silver birch or the rough, shaggy bark of a pine. In spring, I touch the branches of trees, hopefully in search of a bud, the first sign of awakening nature after a winter's sleep. I feel the delightful velvety texture of a flower and discover its remarkable convolutions, and something of a miracle of nature is revealed to me. Occasionally, if I am very fortunate, I place my hand on a small tree and feel the happy quiver of a bird in full song. At times, my heart cries out with longing to see all these things. If I can get as much pleasure from mere touch, how much more beauty will be revealed in sight? Yet those who have eyes apparently see little. The panorama of color and action which fills the world is taken for granted. Now this is me continuing. We who have the gift of sight can see trees. However, I think we are not only seeing trees. And let's examine art to understand that meaning. There's a Pieta by Michelangelo made of marble, made of stone. And in that stone, he tries to incorporate the feeling of love of a mother for her son. And when we see the stone, we don't just say, look, pretty rocks. We say there's art here, there's meaning here, there's feeling here, there's intellect here. There's the eternal love of a mother for her son. There's the pain of a son passing. So we say that when we see the beauty of nature, we're not just seeing the external form of nature like we see the stone of the Pieta. We're seeing rainbows and flowers and skies and seas and fruits and all these beautiful, fabulous things of nature. So I always ask, when we see the beauty of nature, what are we seeing really? We are seeing the gifts of God to us, God's children. Nature is beautiful, nature is refreshing, nature is relaxing. However, if we look a little deeper, we see the love of God that creates that beauty, the intellect of God that makes us honor God with gratitude eternally. We say in the beauty of nature, God is expressing the most amazing, enormous, overwhelming love for you and for me. However, we ask, if asked Helen Keller, if she could see for one day, what would she want to see the most? The Grand Canyon? No. She said, I want to see my family. I want to see the face of my teacher, Anne Sullivan. I want to see the face of my mother and father, my brothers and sisters. So we say this is of universal nature of human beings, that love is a part of our lives. And this love of family is universal. In Eskimo families, Chinese families, European families, in sub-Saharan African families, this ideal of love, of seeing mother and father being happy together, is a universal meaning of God's creation. We say that the greatest gift we receive from the Creator is the blessing of family love. That's why we're a family federation. We believe it's a universal aspect of our nature. We say that everybody needs love. A complete and happy family must have parents who act as a protective shield around the home, and there must be at least one child for the parents to love. When a family is protected, it becomes a nesting place for happiness in our world. So we teach our children to say thank you upon receiving a gift from a teacher or friend or family, right? However, God, our creator of love, should not remain anonymous, but should be greeted every moment with gratitude for the beauty and love surrounding us always. Amen? Amen. Thank you very much.